Jilo wona tonadol toniel DJ Dingarang jagda lo di ana papin Adina majara jideng makwaga oton barat iye manuni ya kudimit pandani ya ayi tonu tuol kutunga tonu madini majar anyar kebegwan ba ijit sukula ikapi najong chigo mami baje ayi pingi kiyelo adina majara jideng makwaga oton barat iye manuni ya kudimit pandani ya ayi tonu tuol kutunga tonu madini majar anyar kebegwan ba ijit sukula ikapi najong chigo mami baje ayi pingi kiyelo adina majara jideng makwaga oton barat iye manuni ya kudimit pandani ya ayi tonu tuol kutunga tonu madini majak anyar kebegwan ba ijit sukula ikapi najong chigo mami baje ayi pingi kiyelo wakanga balo kubila pingi pingi ban kindia deng pandiri junu ayora matul madini majak kemati injina teto kutia injiwa ayora jema mana chulo chulo ire inayo ajibia binye bingung jagelo anyi bingung anbayani nega
Welcome everybody. For those of you turning in on in Clubhouse, share the room, and also some of you join us in Facebook. Please share the live video, and also some of you in YouTube. Please share this. Thank you very much.
Yes. You also have salam. Salam everybody. Everybody on the
Share the video, please. Those of you on YouTube and Clubhouse and Facebook, share it. Repeat. Long time in it. I hope you are doing well. You lost. Okay, welcome everybody. Let me stop the music. Welcome. Welcome to Lake State Media. My name is Madit, Majak. We are live right now in YouTube and Facebook and also in Clubhouse. For those of you tuning in Juba and across South Sudan, welcome. I know it's evening time hours, and some of you in Australia, I know in this early in the morning hours. And here in US is some part of America is 10 a.m. and other part is still early, 7 a.m. So as we know, let me welcome my, so I will be joining in Clubhouse, Ibn Yakani will be here. So he will, we will talk about the issues, the burning issues going on in South Sudan. As we know that the issues going on in Upper Nile is caused a lot of political and also violence going on in that region between the SSPDF and IO and White Army. And this is what that, for those of you following Lake State Media, we always, we are, our media is here to pray for peace, always talk, we need to see peace to come in South Sudan. And we urge the political party in the country, IO and SPLM, and also their military wings, please, we need a peace to come in Upper Nile, and we need to stop those of misinformation and propaganda going on in social media. And I hope the White Army and SSPDF, hopefully they will reach peace. So I have, what I will talk this evening or this morning, we will talk about the letter. There was a letter that the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, linked it into the social media. So that letter was sent to President office, but the letter didn't reach. So the letter was linked to the media, and then we, Lake State Media, didn't share on our media page. We thought that maybe that's a fake letter, because some of the most of South Sudan are doing so much faking news in social media. So we didn't share it until we hear from Ministry of Information, Honorable Makuei Lueth. That's where we say, okay, this is a reality. That's where we talk about the letter. But before that, we didn't talk about it because we thought that that's a fake letter, but this is not a fake letter. So I have a video from Honorable Makuei Lueth for him respond to the letter, because the government is responding to the letter to the Vice President. According to Makuei Lueth, he is concerned about, I know some of you don't like the word concern when I'm using that. So the government was concerned about the letter, why the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, leaked the letter before it reached to the President desk. So that is what is going on. So the letter is here with me, and some of you who are in social media, know about the content of the letter. So the letter is written. Before I play the video, I hope we will try to give you guys a new update what happening at this moment in Nasser. But before we do that, I'm waiting when Ilmun will come back, so I will give him a chance to brief a little bit about what's going on, because there are some positive news going on right now in Nasser, part of Upper Nile. So while I'm waiting for him to come, let me close this one for a second. So while I'm waiting for him to come, there was a clip, voice clip that Ilmun released this morning, sent to Lake State Media, and we shared that on our page, and I will play this. And Ilmun himself, he will be here to talk to us regarding about that. Yeah, and also too, we have seen economic. I will read out also the press release from the embassy into. Let me see here. Let me pull this one up. There's a press statement from embassies of U.S., Canada, France, Germany, Norway, and United Kingdom, and the Netherlands have issued a joint statement on crashes in Nasser, Upper Nile, and call for the dialogue to de-escalate the situation over there. So that they say that this is the joint press meeting release. It was released yesterday on 28th February. They say the crisis and risk increasing violence in Upper Nile state. The embassy of Canada, France, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, and United Kingdom, and the United States, as well as the delegation of the European Unions, expressed their deep concern over crashes and the risk of increasing violence in Upper Nile state. We are convinced that the Juba-based leaders from all the parties, including SPLM-IO and SPLM-IO, have the ability to de-escalate the situation in the responsible and peaceful manner. We urge them to do so to solve the tension through dialogue, unquote. So that is from the international community. So before we dive into those things, so let me welcome Ilmun Yakani in Clubhouse. Give out the latest news. Ilmun, what are the latest news between the IO and White Army and SSPDF in Nasser? If there is any new development going on there, regarding what for the ceasefire and peace, welcome.
Thank you, Madit. First, I'd like to say thanks for inviting me to the room. And those who are down there, thanks to everybody for joining us. Let's continue the conversation, because peace is our ultimate goal, as the song we play, that we can make peace. The power is with us. Since yesterday and today, we've been engaging in a very intense advocacy work. And part of the result of advocacy work is what you have seen, the joint statements that came out. There are two joint statements that have helped us to trade through. The first joint statement, which came out yesterday, the day before yesterday, actually, the statement that came, RGMEC, UN, IGAD, and AU, they issue a joint statement as four institutions calling for calm and calling for resolution of the tensions through dialogue. And that was followed by the joint European Union and its member states that we have read, plus US, or plus the Troika in general, which came out today. Of course, these two statements have helped us, and we're engaged with the religious leaders. We have engaged with the leaders of the White Army. The good news is that a ceasefire was reached between the force that are going with the badges and then the leadership of the White Army. And the ceasefire is based on meeting the conditions given by the White Army and the conditions given by the SSPDF force. And mainly the conditions is that no disarmament of anybody from Wulan until Nasir. And the only thing is that the badges have to go and change the SSPDF force. on the ground, and then bring the force back, and along will come back to the badges to Juba. And the Commission of Wulang was given the responsibility to escort the badges through the river until the border with Nasir, and Commission of Nasir will go with the boats to Nasir. That is a condition. Other condition was also a holding of a meeting, which already it's been published in quite a number of media houses, between His Excellency President and First Vice President, and then members of the other political parties and stakeholders that will be held on Monday in Juba. So these conditions were all made. It means the aerial bombardment by the gunships will not be carried out. The gunships have to be grounded in Medakal. They can't exercise any fly around. That's one of the conditions that led to the ceasefire. Number two is that no disarmament is agreed upon, and the soldiers that are going to replace their colleagues in Malakal were conditioned not to entertain any aggression or any action of aggression. That means intimidation, harassment, looting, commitment of human rights violations, or burning of houses in any form. Their role is only to move along the river until they reach Nasir. And the county commissioner of Wulang have to be in charge of the barges that are going along the river until he hand over his counterpart, and making sure there's no confrontation with the communities along the river. So that is what has been reached. And as we speak now, Wulang commissioner is with the barges moving on. And I've shared with you statements that come from several people about the situation on the ground, what's going on. And Miraya have already published an article where they interviewed the county commissioner of Wulang, and which the commissioner confirmed, yes, a ceasefire was reached between the White Army and the SSPDF force that are going. And of course, there's still an outstanding issue that needs to be sorted out. Is that the outstanding issue is the presence of unified forces in Nasir, and that will have to be handled on Monday through the meeting of the principals of the party signatory to our access. That means His Excellency President, His Excellency First Vice President, and leaders of other parties like Josephine Lagu for SOA, and then a representative of FDs, OPP, and then us, the stakeholders who are signatory to our access, to iron out this issue of Nasir. And specifically, the condition is that unified forces is a qualified force to be based in Nasir or anywhere from now on, because it's within the spirit and the letter of the agreement, chapter 2. But at the same time also is that the gunships have to be grounded and come back to Juba. The gunships cannot be used anymore for striking against the civilian population like what we have seen in the last 2 or 3 days. Of course, from our perspective as a civil society, we are calling for investigations of the strikes that were already carried on in terms of damages, human rights violations, because remember, this action is within the spirit of the agreement. It's still chapter 5 of the agreement it holds. And I know people have different political opinions, but this is what I'd like to update you that this is what's going on. Somehow the situation is right now calm, and the interaction between the White Army and the SSPDF force that are heading to Nasir is not in more confrontation. And Wulang County Commissioner, Nasir County Commissioner are in charge to ensure no civilian disarmament, no harassment of civilians, no burning of villages, or any form of violence against civil population or human rights violence against the civil population. And that will be reinforced by the meeting of Monday, which will be held at the level of the party signatory to our access, with participation of the stakeholders to digest what went wrong with the case of Nasir and why not unified force. And of course, the condition of the ceasefire is that unified force is fit to be based in Nasir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irmun Yakani, for update regarding about what's going on in Nasir. Irmun, we have seen a letter, the link letter from the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar. I'm not going to read the letter out. It's like about 3 pages or 4 pages long. And the government, is not happy about this. I will play the video from Honorable Makuei Lueth press conference yesterday in Juba. This is like 17 minutes long. So the government is not happy about the leak of the letter. What is going on in Juba current moment? As you mentioned that the by president and president they agree. President agreed to meet with by president Dr. Riek Machar today. I don't know if this meeting is still or they already met. Okay, so that is the letter here was dated yesterday on 27, which is 2 days ago. And let me play the video from the press release from the Ministry of Information, Honorable Makuei Lueth, and then we pick up from there. So let me see here.
You must have got a message in your social. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, you may be surprised as to why did we call this press conference. And that is how things are, and that is how we work. Last night, you must have got a message in your social media, a letter written by the first Vice President to the President of the Republic. That letter was addressed to the President of the Republic and copied to about 16 persons. The objective of this press conference is this letter. Of course, you have seen the letter written on the 27th, yesterday. After being written yesterday, it was delivered to the office of the President at 4:30 p.m. And you saw it in the social media at about 5 or 6 in the evening. Those of you who did not get it, you should have got it, because it is in the social media. So I did not bother myself to publish it for you again, but here it is available wherever it is. I decided to call this conference in order to clarify some of the issues connected with this letter. This letter was written, of course, on the 27th of February 2025 by His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar, the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and the Chairman of the SPLM-IO. This letter was written to His Excellency the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, and the subject was a request for a meeting to discuss the security situation in Upper Nile State, Western Equatoria State, and Western Bahr al-Ghazal State. Our main problem is that it's not the request, but the way things are being done. Yesterday, when the letter was taken to the office of the President had already gone home. So the minister in the office of the President decided to keep it for this morning, so that it is presented to him and then he will act on it and give the necessary directives. Instead, the letter appeared last night in the social media before it could even reach the person to whom it was addressed. This is the irregularity which we are trying to address. And the issues which have been also raised in that letter are issues which have nothing to do with the people who have been copied. If you read through, you find that it is copied to so many people, about 16 people who are copied. And none of them is a South Sudanese, but these are people of the region and the regional organizations. So this is the main problem. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective of this press conference is to clarify the public and media houses the unfortunate, unprocedural trend taken by the above quoted letter. The letter was written on the 27th February and delivered to the office of the President at 4:30 p.m. at the time when His Excellency had already gone home, so it was to be brought to his attention this morning. On the 27th February, the same evening, the above quoted letter appeared in the social media at a time when it had not yet reached the addressee, His Excellency President, and above all, what is this abnormality that justified publication in the social media against the ordinary established norms, correspondences, and requests for audience or meetings. Under the normal circumstances, when you request a meeting, you don't publish your request. And this is not the first time that requests have been presented. So what is particular about this request being presented at this time and tabled and sent to the social media? This is the issue. In that letter, there are so many things that have been raised, and the letter says, to quote, "I'm prompted to raise these issues to the grantors so that they could intervene and suggest amicable solutions to break the deadlock in question." So the question is, where did the parties reach the deadlock, which is mentioned here? Meanwhile, they did not first sit and then disagreed. It is after disagreement that you can talk of a deadlock. So it is after the deadlock that you can now talk of seeking solutions from the grantors. The letter was addressed to the President, was not addressed to the grantors, and he is seeking intervention of the grantors. And the issues which have been raised here have nothing to do with the grantors, because the grantors do come in after having reached a deadlock. But these people never sat down so that they reach a dialogue which will justify the intervention of the grantors. The issues raised are very clear. The issues of Western Equatoria, Northern, Western Barkazal, and Upper Nile State. You know very well what is happening in Western Equatoria. Western Equatoria, after the removal of Governor Futeyo, the people of Western Equatoria decided to go on rampage, and they ransacked the house of the governor. This, you have all seen it. There is no army there which was in uniform attacking the house of the governor, but this was the civil population. Now, there comes in a question as to why did President Salva decide to remove Government Putillo? He decided to remove him because he had been intransigent. Mabesma Kalam does not listen to the orders of the president, does not listen to the directives of the president. He acts at will. The people of Western Equatoria were fed up of him. The president requested the first vice president so many times to remove this man and bring in another person.
president is calling for the president, for by president to remove the governor and bring a new person in, but that didn't happen. That's why president take executive decision, because he's the president of all. You see that he's in charge of security in the country. If we say that part of the country having insecurity concern, the president can take the immediate action to make sure that the peace can be restored in any part of the country. So let us listen more from the Michael Makuei
to substitute him. But what happened? Nobody, the first vice president had not been listening to that. And the agreement, by the way, should not be misunderstood and should not be misinterpreted and abused. The president of the republic is the president of the republic. And he is the one responsible for security of the people of South Sudan. He is responsible for the protection of the rights of the people of South Sudan. Yes, the agreement, the current government is the government of the agreement, at the top of whom is the president of the republic. And if he is dissatisfied with the performance of any official in the agreement who is from any other party, he has the right to ask that party to remove that person and replace him. And nobody has the right to refuse and say, no, I'm not removing him because he's my candidate and he's my best man. No. This is what it is. So when a party decides to refuse not to change that person or remove him and nominate another person, meanwhile he is not performing well and not delivering to the people in the state or even here at the national government, the president has the right to do that, because he's the one responsible for our security and for protection of our people and their properties. So this is what happened. When the president requested the removal of Futuyo, it was resisted for long, and as such he decided to use his powers in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and relieve Futuyo, and requested IO to nominate. According to this letter now, they have nominated. I don't know whether their nomination has gone to the office of the president or not, but according to this letter now, they have nominated the substitute for Futuyo. Now, when this happened, there was a mob in Western Equatoria. And people decided to go on rampage. The acting governor, who is the deputy governor, decided to protect the people, the family of the governor, and all the government employees. Protected them. And even the family of Futuyo, which is his wife and his children, they are now in the house of the deputy governor. Now IO here goes in to say all these people have been tortured, captured, and so forth. That is not the case, and that is not true. What happened in Western Equatoria is not the act of anybody. They are accusing the SPLM in government, which is not true. But it is the people, even those who went there, some of them are IOs, those who were dissatisfied with the performance of Futuyo. They are citizens and they have the right to say their word. The letter was not addressed to the guarantors. They were only copied, and they are not expected to intervene. Copy. It is just for me to note. They are meant for me to note, not to react or intervene. If you read the gist of the letter talks about a letter being sent to the president and to the guarantors. The guarantors cannot just intervene in a letter which was not written to them. They were copied. But if you read the body of the letter, it says that it is addressed to them. If you wanted to address a letter, address it to all of them so that they can all react to it. But when you copy them, it means that you want only the person to whom the letter is addressed to respond. Number 3, the violations at all times that take place in the SPLM-IO hell areas, and SPLM-IG always acts as the IG acts always as a fire extinguisher. Because المشاكل كلها بتظهر إن في مناطق بتاع الحركة، مناطق بتاع حكومة جنوب السودان. All these problems emanate in the SPLM hell areas. كله. So that is it, and we don't need to keep on creating problems for our civil population. We need to make sure that our people live in peace and harmony. And as such, we need them to live in peace and harmony up to the elections when they will decide their leadership. The current government needs to work in harmony, not to create issues which are unnecessary and not wanted at this time. For this meeting, which was requested and the letter was put in the social media, this meeting will still hold. It will be held. But why put it in the social media before it could even reach the owner? When you are writing a letter, when you write a letter and you copy some people, you don't even send the copies before the owner receives the original. You don't send the copies. You send copies after that. This is the normal procedure. But in this case, this is very funny and we are unable to understand what is that it was happening. The right people whom we should have copied, whom IO should have copied, would have been the vice presidents and the party signatory to the agreement. These are the right people. Because these are people who are living here with us. And they have all the solutions at hand. Whatever problems that come up are usually addressed through that. Not through those who are outside there. Those who are outside there are people of their own, and they even like us would like to see us all the time in crisis, so that we continue, so that they continue. To conclude, His Excellency the President is committed. Is committed to the implementation of the agreement of the RRCs in letter and spirit. And he is committed to the protection of the people of South Sudan and their properties. He is under duty, according to the provisions of the Constitution, he is under duty to protect the people, the lives of the people of South Sudan and their properties, irrespective of whatever the agreement says. Irrespective of whatever the agreement says, he is the one answerable and answerable before the people of South Sudan for their lives and their properties. So we should not misinterpret the provisions of the agreement And we should not misinterpret the provisions of the Constitution, but make sure that we respect and abide by all this.
Okay, there you have it. That is a press conference from response from Honorable Michael Makuei Lueth. So as you see that he's having a concern, the problem here is about the letter that IO leaked into the social media, and the letter is not opening letter. So, and also too, that is a concern. So Irmun, if you could I will give you the chance, and then the rest of the people who come up will ask you a question. Can you give us your perspective regarding about this data and the reaction from the government? Irmun, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Madit. You know, one of the things that I would like to bring to the attention of everyone that triggered this sort of like hello?
Hello, yes.
Hello, Madit?
Yes, we can hear you, yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, man. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. What I think that triggered is
Duke, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Irmun.
yes, but one of the things that triggered this particular conversation was that it's become a case of frustration management among the two parties, the SPLM and the SPLM-IO, because what Dr. Riek, first Vice President, did was to bring up that issues to the public attention. The other public attention includes the diplomatic communities, as Makuei was saying. We requested, like the request on 27, then the same day of 28, the letter had gone out public, but it was supposed to be confidential. While it is that letter that generated the pressure that lead to the agreement on holding a meeting on Monday, which is next tomorrow. That's all the meeting on for Monday morning in terms of the meeting between the parties. These are supposed to be between the president and vice president. But to the best of my knowledge, this evening it was expanded to be all parties to our access first. With all parties that are signature to our access and stakeholders. That's one thing. And that also triggered the AU, IGAD, RGNEC, and UN joint statement, and then the TRICA joint statement. That's the pressure that the letter generated against the Second and First Vice President, which is more like make it public to make responses that come out. But at the same time, also, the government have.
Irmun, can you speak louder? People in the on the Facebook cannot hear you well. Can you speak a little bit?
Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, while the government said there's a multiple conversation that have gone between them and the first vice president, the placement of and since no response from the government, and of course the justification that you have seen in the was removed, how the people celebrated, and how things have gone nicely. So that's what the justification. Of course, initially they held that confidential issues they need to manage as a party to the agreement without going to public. But sometimes as they try to manage it, there's either denial of acceptance for honoring the information. And by the way, one thing I want to bring to the attention of everybody here is that if you look at the agreement, information are access, the next statement that manages issues like what? The National Transition Committee was established to handle these issues before it goes to public domain, like media, or goes to attention of others, or goes to attention of urgent. They're supposed to handle the things. Then if the committee secretary go to argument, from argument automatically become a public issue. So I think for me it's a question of management and administration ethics that the parties need to address. And I hope that on the Monday meeting, some of these issues will come to the attention that look here, you have huge confrontation among yourselves, that sometimes this confrontation it diffuse your spirit and your will for implementing that. So I think for me, what Makuei was responding to is an element of frustrations with the publicity of the document, and the document has generated the pressure, and the pressure is that we're having now the Monday meeting is coming up, and there's an article, but I'll share with you the day in front of the the citizen number one newspaper, because one that's every line that His Excellency President final accepted duties. His Excellency First Vice President plus other parties like women and stakeholders. So I think for me, it's a question of now expectations management that we have seen, and this expectation management played again in Sudan. And even I'm quite sure with the ceasefire that was reached between the White Army and the Army for the replacement of forces, and now there's still also issue of expectation management there, because some people want to see confrontation, but there's no confrontation that you need to manage. There are those who see there's no confrontation. So for me, it's a question of management by expectations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me give the chance to Akol. Akol, do you have a question to ask?
Yes, Brother Madit, I do have two questions to Brother Ikani. Greeting to all of you. Brother Ikani, greeting man. I know sometimes we always bombarded you with our questions here, not because you know it all, but because we believe that you are very close, to any political party in the country, and your advocacy is based on the civil population. You are for people, not for politician or political party, and that's where you get from. You don't take side in anything. Now my question is, one will be for a letter, and the other one is about the situation going on in Nasser. Now, in letter, let me just do it as a side case example that I wrote a letter to you, addressing to you a letter that we want to meet or have a confidential talk. And then you come and learn it from the air, whether in radios or in this, like what we have now. Really, will you be happy even to welcome in your office or whatever situation room that we can meet and discuss the thing concerned to our country, or will you have reservation in it? This is what the letter seems to be now, but given that it has already surfaced out there, there's still there's still to be a hope that they're going to meet. But is this the right way for the confidential letter addressing to addressee to be just received by those who are not addressed to those letters? In your perspective, is that the right way? To leak out your letter that you want to meet with and at the same time, the phone call, is it different, or they refuse, or they're scared to be recorded? This phone, that in my own reading now, it seems that these two parties are not.
Okay, for those of you in club,
Situation of Nasser.
those of you in studio, it seems like you guys cannot hear. If you have a Clubhouse account, please log into his Clubhouse and you can come and join our conversation. I will close down the studio, so and join us in Clubhouse. Okay, thank you.
South Sudan is bombarding its own citizens.